Hello everyone, in this video I want to show you how to start the Mi-8 MTV2 in DCS. I won't be going into all of the pre-flight checks and tests that you need to run. We're just going to assume that this helicopter is in perfect mechanical condition and we're simply going to start it and go. Alright, first things first, we need to make sure that our collective on our joystick is all the way down. Alright, the collective in the model won't move until you have hydraulic pressure, so if your collective is up and you start the engine, at one point this collective will jump up and you'll have a very undesired movement of the helicopter. Same for the wheel brake. Make sure that your sparking brake is set. Alright, again, if it's down and you start the engine, your helicopter will start spinning. Now, next thing we're going to do is we'll first of all make sure that these pilots are not here. We love them and all, but they're blocking our view. We're going to turn on the batteries, battery 1 and 2. We're going to set the inverters into auto mode. And we're going to flip up all of these circuit breakers. Don't worry, if you press this bar down here, the circuit breakers will flip up row by row. These 3 blocks are for weapon systems. Even though we don't have any weapons on this helicopter, we're still going to turn them on, just in case. After we have electrical battery power to where it's needed, we are going to set the fire extinguisher into operational mode using this selector here. We're going to open both fuel valves, left and right, and we're going to turn on fuel pumps for the service tank, left and right fuel tanks. After that, we're going to set this selector up for Zapdos mode so we can start the APU, and press this button for 2 seconds to start the APU. We're also going to close this window so it'll be a bit quieter here. While APU is spooling up, we can watch the parameters here. You have exhaust temperature for the APU and air outlet temperature, air outlet pressure for the APU. Once pressure is about 1.9 kilograms per square centimeter, we can start the engines. Now, before we start the engines, we need to set the rotor brake down, just like a handbrake in your car. Set the selector to either left or right, depending on which engine we want to start. We're going to start with the left engine. We set this selector up so we can start the engine, just like with the APU. And we're going to press and hold this button for 2 seconds or until this green light here turns on. Once engine is spooling up and it reaches around 20%, we're going to move the engine cutoff lever forward to allow the engine to ignite, so to speak. You can see exhaust temperature rising up. You can see engine RPM rising. While engines are spooling up, we can turn on various electrical systems. Not all of them will energize. Some of them require generator power to work, including these systems here. Most of them do require generator power. And these ones here. This is the audio warning. We will leave it on for now because occasionally she will blare out messages while starting up the helicopter about hydraulic pressure or generator failure. We're going to leave her off for now. Alright, engine number 1 reached idle RPM, which is around 72%. So we can move to the right engine. We're going to flip the selector to the right and again press this button for 2 seconds. Green light is on. RPM is rising and engine cutoff forward. Notice that while this green light is on, if you'll move this selector to the left or to the right away from the engine that is starting, you will stop the startup sequence for that engine. Don't do it. Right? Wait patiently for each engine to start up to finish its startup sequence and then move to the other one. Right, radio timbre is working and engine 2 is pulling up. Alright. Alright, engine 2 is pulled up. Once both engines are running, we can turn off the APU. And next thing will be to turn on the generators. But do notice that the generators are working from the rotor shaft. So if the rotor is spinning too slowly, generators won't work. You need to raise rotor RPM to beyond 90%. We'll do it by twisting this twist grip here on the collector. Press page up to twist it all the way to the left, the right, sorry. Right, rotor RPM is rising. And now it's beyond 90%, we can turn on the generators. Turn on generator 1, generator 2, and all 4 set fires. Once that is done, we have electrical power to all of the helicopter systems. We're going to turn on both engines dust protection, and we're going to turn heaters for the dust protectors, batteries, and the clock. Also, we can turn on this selector here. This is a flasher system. If you have a red light flashing somewhere in the cockpit, this will also produce an audible click, so it will be easier for you to identify what is wrong with your helicopter. Now we're going to press 2 to jump into the co-pilot's position. We're going to turn on the countermeasures, set them to both. And last thing, turn on the dampeners here. This is basically autopilot. It helps you stabilize your helicopter in flight. You can fly without it, but you shouldn't fly without it. And last but not least, all your warning systems, just in case. And we are ready to go, basically. All right. Two. All right. Thanks for watching.